Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm gonna try and get a little more comfortable here. Hope everybody's having a good day. I know everybody's probably at the Eagles parade. My gosh, I can't even imagine what that must be like right now. I saw some. We were streaming it for a little bit, my wife and I, and it just looked absolutely insane. I think everybody that lives in the Philadelphia area is at that parade right now. It's incredible. My brother called me, and they were at I think they were at PJ's, and they were watching it live too, and they said the same thing, that it was just a madhouse. Okay, so this is the Friday edition weather update here. I call these weather quickies. I'm trying to keep these 5 to 8 minutes. Yesterday, I sort of exceeded that a little bit. It wound up going like 18 minutes. But what I did yesterday, I kind of laid down the framework, so to speak. All right, kind of went into everything in detail on, what's going on, what has to happen in order to get this big snowstorm. I'm not going to really go into all of that with this video. I'm actually, at the end of this video, you'll see a little rectangle pop up, and it'll show you'll be able to click it if you want to see all of that, because it'll take you right to yesterday's video. So with this one, I'm just going to get into the latest on the Ensemble data, as well as the Deterministic European, and show you what's going on with the models. Thinking potential is there. I'll tell you, it's one of those situations where somebody on the East Coast is going to get it. Is it the Carolinas? Is it the Philadelphia area? Is it New England, the Cape? Somebody on the East Coast is going to get a huge hit of snow. I can tell you right now, on the East Coast, who ain't going to see it? Me. Oh man, I swear this is like a it's like a winner for the ages, and I'm just missing out on all of it. Oh well. Oh, all right. Let me share this. You guys, make sure you're seeing it. So let's get into it a little bit. And on occasion, you might see little Paigey come out here. She'll say hi. She's in a really good mood today. It's Valentine's Day. She made Daddy a little card, and I got her a bunch of chocolates and a teddy bear. Um, so she might come out here every now and then. Mr. Murphy Pants, by the way. Let's see if you can see him. Murphy, say hi. Say hi to everybody. It's funny because you guys, I know it's really cold up there, really, really cold with the wind chills. It's like 80 here right now, and it's humid, really humid. I've got my ceiling fans on, and the box fan is on. I can't believe how humid it is. All right, so here's a look at the European model. Remember what you're looking at here, this is the upper levels. Remember when, can't talk, I just swam laps. Remember, when we're forecasting, we always start with what's going aloft first, and then we work our way down to the surface. It's called the forecast cone, okay, because it looks like a cone, up to down, okay? And orange represents higher heights. Blues and greens represent lower. Or in other words, higher heights mean higher pressures, lower heights mean lower pressures, without getting too technical in all of this. So what you're looking at here, this, by the way, this thing coming in here Saturday into Sunday, I call it a slop storm. I saw some of the numbers the Weather Service is putting out. You might get a little bit of snow and some sleet, but this is, I mean, it's mainly rain. Most of it is rain. It's not going to be much of anything at all. With that being said, you may want to watch some of the roads north and west of the city of Philadelphia late in the day on Saturday before it changes to rain. It could be slick, but that's, again, it's not a big deal. This thing coming in next week is going to be a big deal. And you see this blue pushing across the country. We talked about this yesterday. This big storm, this massive storm that's going to bring like probably 2 inches of rain to parts of the Philadelphia area, or at least 1 to 2 inches of rain. It's going to bring maybe 40 to 50 mile an hour winds at some point, possibly stronger. I mean, it's a big storm. This is going to lay down the track work. Okay. What we're doing here is, once this comes through, we're lowering the pressures on the East Coast. Notice this thing, look towards the left, all right? See right there off the west coast of Washington and Oregon? That's your storm. That's your storm as we get into Thursday. It's going to round the bend here, and you can see the reds up above. Right? Again, we talked about all this yesterday. That's the block. You're slamming the northern doors shut. This little piece of energy right now in Texas is going to swing around, and boom, there it is. Fires up right off the coast. The question here, all right, the $1 million question, because, from a meteorological standpoint, when you look at this thing, everything's there. I mean, it's got a lot of upper level support. The MJO is in its favorable phase, which is phase 8. I'll get into that in a second, but it's in its storm signal phase. It did change a little bit this morning, but it is still there. You got a lot of blocking over the top. You've got the trough deepening in the east. You've got the ridge, even though not as strong as I'd like to see on the West Coast, it's there. You've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle here. It's just, can we put everything together? And if we can, you're probably shoveling 10 to 20 inches of snow. If then you're probably still looking at a little snow. It just might not be as much. The pieces of energy, focus on where you see the darker reds and the yellows. So here comes this thing over to see it coming out of Texas there. This is the weekend storm. The upper level low is way back towards the U.S.-Canadian border out there near Minnesota and North Dakota. Okay, so this is a little piece of energy swinging through. It turns into a pretty good storm, but it's a cutter. It's all rain. It's a warmer storm. Then here comes, now this is Monday evening. Look at the thing on the West Coast. See it? Here we go. We're going to swing this down. See, it's going to make the trip all the way down to Texas. Notice we got two areas. Okay, you see the thing in Texas. You see the thing across Iowa. Where do these things come together? Now, the whole thing in Iowa isn't just going to, merge into the one down there. It's not all just going to phase like that, but a piece of this will. The question is where. So notice here, now we're Thursday morning. All right, low is developing. Okay, now you notice how we're starting to pull some of that red from the Great Lakes. Paigey? Is that my Paigey? What you got on your head, boo?
Glasses.
How are glasses? You know what we're going to do after this? We're going to go to the beach. We're going to build sandcastles. You want to build sandcastles with Daddy? Where are you going? Bye-bye then.
Going back inside. Bye.
All right, bye. Okay, what was I talking about? This. So notice how we're starting to draw some of that red. See that? Starting to draw some of the red to the coast. Everything's starting to come together, but it really goes bonkers here. Okay, so late Thursday into Friday. Now, enough of this catches up, I think, to where we get a good hit according to this run. So here's a look at what the latest Deterministic is showing. Here comes the slop storm over the weekend. I was just looking at different levels of the atmosphere, 900 millibars, 800, 850. It's not going to be snowing for long if you get anything at all. It's going to go over to rain quickly. So here comes that. But again, you see how the low kind of cut. It's going from south to north or southwest to northeast, and it's cutting west of Philadelphia. Puts you in the warm sector. You're never going to stay all snow that way. So that comes and goes. But again, now we're drawing all the cold air in. That was the other significant thing about this. Once this storm pushes off the coast Sunday, now as we get into Monday, this is Arctic air. I mean, bitter Arctic air that we're driving in. We're talking about wind chills across New England that are easily below zero. And we could end up seeing wind chills in the Philadelphia area by the end of next week below zero too. All right, here it comes. All right, now you see where this low is. It's got the low off the coast of the Carolinas. This is late in the day on Wednesday, and then it comes up. See that? Here it comes. Green rain, blue and purple snow, that pink is sleet and freezing rain. See it? It's coming up. Now, you see all these lines too? That's another thing I wanted to bring up. The closer those lines are, those are lines of equal pressure. Those are called isobars. The closer they are, the windier it becomes. So when you start to see a lot of tightly packed lines like that, you're going to get some good winds. So here's where everything's starting to come together, especially now as we get into Thursday night. That point, the low is starting to pull away a little bit, but this is a good track. This is currently a very friendly track for a walloping in the Philadelphia area. And then boom, see this right here? As we get into Friday morning, this was when everything, let me see if I can go back. See that right there? See how everything came together right there off the coast? See that? That's when this thing really goes bonkers. All right, we're still in a good position on this latest track, but everything is phasing a couple hundred miles off the coast. That's when this thing goes nuts. And you get the blizzard-like conditions with the winds over 35 miles per hour for a few consecutive hours. You get the heavy snow, the cold air. That's when everything goes nuts, when it's a couple hundred miles off the coast, according to the latest run on the European. But it's enough of it kind of got drawn in early enough in the game to lay down a pretty good footprint of snow across the mid-Atlantic there. Okay, so this is what the there you go. Okay, you can see it. So this is pretty much what the European is showing right now. Want to point something out, okay? Don't look at this, and this is not to say all be all. It's going to change, okay? What we're trying to figure out right now is where everything comes together. If you remember yesterday, the morning hours, it had sort of this it actually took the low off the coast of North Carolina and the Virginia Capes, and it had South Jersey in a pretty good swath of snow, but it didn't have much north and west. And then the evening run came out yesterday, and it showed the whole area getting blasted, and that's kind of where we are right here with this morning's run. It's showing the whole area getting blasted. But remember, this is a Thursday snow, all right? And what's today? Friday. So we're talking about 6 days away still. This is going to change, but the point of this is we're trying to figure out where everything is going to phase. And right now, it looks like it's going to phase a little bit farther off the coast. This is the ensemble. This is what this does. If you remember what the ensemble is, you're taking the European model here and you're running it 50 different times. You change the initial parameters a little bit, and then you take the average, okay, the blend of all 50 runs. So the fact that this shows as much snow as it does in the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast is a good sign. Okay, now keep in mind some of that in New England, for example, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine. Some of that's going to be this thing coming in here Saturday into Sunday. But in the Philadelphia area, no, that is all Thursday of next week. So the fact that, and it's, look at it, it stretches all the way down through Baltimore, D.C., Richmond, Virginia, out towards Blacksburg and the higher elevations of West Virginia, the Blue Ridge Mountains. I mean, the fact that it has that much snow this early in the game, that's a good sign for the snow lovers. Let me go over to this one real quick. What you're looking at here, these are percentages off the European model, and that you see that little orange strip that goes from, let's say, just south of D.C., north up into Boston, the eastern shore, Baltimore, excuse me, the eastern shores of Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey. It does include Philadelphia. This is a 60 to 70% chance. That's what this is showing, of picking up at least 6 inches of snow. And again, to show this almost a week out, to have that high of a percentage in the I-95 corridor, it's really impressive. So the ensembles are seeing it. Again, it's just they're going to have to try and figure out where they want to put this thing, okay? Here's a look at this one right here. All of these are areas of low pressure. See it? Remember, there's a bunch of different runs here. We're blending 50 different runs. Where does the low come up the coast? Obviously, let me show you that again. See that? Boom, boom, boom. Obviously, the closer it comes up the coast, or the closer it is to the coastline, the better the chances are of getting heavy snow. But you got to be careful, too. It can't get too close, because sometimes, I mean, think of it. We all know if you live in the mid-Atlantic, you always get that dreaded rain snow line, right? Because the ocean temperatures are always a little bit milder. Sometimes if the low is too close to the coast, like right on the coast, or maybe, I don't know, 20 miles inland or something like that, you're drawing that marine layer in, and now you're flipping the snow over to rain. So we need it close to the coast. It just can't be on the coast. And right now the modeling is kind of showing this is a good hit. It's a good position for snow lovers right there. And notice, see the greens? Again, notice how it really goes bonkers once it's about 300 miles off the coast there of Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. If that whole phasing process, guys, if that whole phasing process can take shape off the coast of Atlantic City, you guys are going to get buried. And I don't mean just 10, 12, 15 inches. I mean, if that whole thing takes shape off the coast of Atlantic City, you're getting 20 inches of snow. Just a question of where. Where does it come together? One last thing that I want to show, we're at about 12 minutes. I don't want to go too much longer, is I want to show you this real quick. Okay, now follow me closely with this. This is what we call the MJO. Notice the square, okay? Now, when you look at the square, the outside box, notice how every little, I guess, slice of the pie, if you will, has a number. For example, do you see where it says Western Pacific on the top? To the left, it has 7. To the right, it has 6. Those are the different phases of the MJO, okay? The black line represents where it was. The red line in the middle, that represents where it's going. And notice the red line is going, if you look towards the outer edges of the square, you see the 8 there on the left? The red line is going through phase 8. Now, the 18 in the middle, the 20, the days in the days of the month are in the middle there, where you see the 16, the 18, the 20. That represents the 16th of February, the 18th of February, the 20th of February. As long as we can keep that red line in phase 8 as the storm comes up, we're in business. It's as simple as that. We got to keep that's the mega snow threat, if you will. If that thing stays in phase 8, somebody on the East Coast from North Carolina up to Maine is getting hammered. So that's about it. Let me see real quick. There. Okay. So in short, that's about it. So just kind of laying down the track work again here. From this point on, I'm going to keep updating daily. From this point on, I'll just show you the ensembles and I'll show you the deterministic models, and we'll see where we are. So it's no guarantee that we're getting a major storm in Philadelphia. The East Coast, somebody's going to get it. We're just trying to figure out who at this point, but it's a really good signal. I really, really like it. Okay, I think I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to build some sandcastles with